It's a trap!
Nicholas, I can never get that name right. Nicholas.
These guys are fucking idiots.
I have a life.
Shut the fuck up, asswipe, and suck my cock.
Boom!
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Capiche?
Your podcast stinks.
You fucking dickhead.
Jeez Louise.
Thanks a lot, Karl.
You owe me an apology. Boom!
You stupid fucking blabbermouth cunt!
I love a parade.
You fool! You fool!
Is John the stupidest guy in the world?
He's a fag.
We laughed our asses off.
Disappointed!
We were laughing our asses off. I laughed my ass off.
There have been no laughs!
What do you mean?
None!
Lady K has not been wrong. If he says he's got proof, he's got proof.
I just sucked off so many dudes.
Drive in, drive out, drive through.
This is not a show.
Boom!
This guy could dish it out, but just couldn't take it.
I don't lie. I don't like to lie. Anybody who knows me knows that my OCD would never allow me to do something like that, which is why I don't steal. I can't. WATP! WATP!
And the rest.
But all we kept talking about.
This is my party, and you're not invited. If I was such a loser, why is everybody so mad that I'm leaving?
Point Dabble Point. A Stuttering John Melendez roundtable discussion.
Welcome to Point Dabble Point, a weekly discussion where we get caught up on This Week in Stuttering John, turn off our air conditioning, and pretend we can afford a boat. I'm Karl Hamburger from Who Are These Podcasts, and with me this week, from Who Are These Podcasts, the man who could do no wrong for some reason, producer Chris is here. What's up, Chris?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here and actually here. Also with us this week, Rookie of the Year in the Dabbleverse, Adam Busch is joining us. What's up, Adam?
What's happening? I'm so excited to be back on what I believe is a very crucial and necessary addition to the Dabbleverse.
I agree. Thank you very much, Adam. Also with us today, you might know him from the Uncle Rico Show. He owns the Shuli Network. Shuli Agar is with us. What's up, Shuli?
How we doing, gentlemen? What a murderer's row over here. Wow. I'll just leave. You guys take over.
When I talk about bringing back Point Dabble Point, we're bringing back Point Dabble Point, baby. We got a lot to talk about because John is a lunatic. It's insane what he's doing right now. He's so desperate for attention.
Oh, yeah.
It's just lie after lie after lie. No one buys any of it. And he just keeps doubling down on these things. I swear to God, today, he said, I was just listening to a show where it's the Duke and the Dummy. And he said, someone super chatted him. What about that job you were going to have, John? And he goes, actually, I'm starting it tomorrow. And I won't be on the show. It's like, Jesus Christ, just stop it already. It's enough. We get it. You're lying about it. No one believed you. It's fine. Moving on.
But he's the last to realize that he has so many tells when he's A, lying, or B, caught in the lie. My Lost Interest just put up a great clip from his show today where Vince questioned him about monthly payments for a boat. And it's a 3-minute thing if you guys want to play it. And it's great because he starts off and he's like, he does the face where he goes, what?
Buying time.
Right, buying time.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, he's like, I'll get the authorities involved. Right. So he's like,
Jesus.
It's
The Navy.
It's every time. And it's every time, every lie. It starts with, aren't you guys jealous to I'm gonna get the cops involved, once you bust them. It's wild.
0 to 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it called Stutjo's mom applied for boat loan?
Yes.
Question,
Yes.
okay.
So
I'll
that is
have that ready to go.
that is the rumor going around that he got denied the loan for a boat and then asked his mom to
Well, his credit
apply.
score is 440, so I would imagine he would get denied a loan for a boat. Before we get into it, there's so much to talk about today. I just want to remind everyone that you can support this very show. We appreciate that. Of course, your super chats and your gifted memberships are always appreciated, and we'll go through those. But also, we have the super tip system here on Point Dabble Point. That is supertip.gg/WATP. Go over to that URL, and you can pick one of the silly Dabbleverse people with an AI voice to read your chat and actually participate in the show and help support the show. So we do appreciate that. It's pinned in the chat, and it's also the stupid QR code I have up in the corner there, supertip.gg/WATP. Participate in the fun with all of us. All right, the first topic that I wanted to bring up is the comedy club, because I just saw Uncle Rico talking about this the other day, and we talked about it on WATP. John, he's always got these grandiose ideas. Nothing ever comes to fruition, but it doesn't stop him from announcing something's going to happen that's never going to happen. And this one was his buddy who owns an airport was going to buy him a comedy club and call it Stuttering John's Comedy Club. And he was very excited about this. Adam, you saw the comedy club saga. Do you think this was going to happen?
This is like a childhood fantasy. It's like he died and he's going to heaven, and heaven is his own comedy club with his name on it, and he bears none of the financial responsibility. All he has to do is show up and host, introduce a couple comics, no pressure for material. All his friends are going to be there,
Drink
all
for
his
free.
family, all his dead relatives and pets. It was a wet dream. It was crazy.
You're right. It's like the end of Jedi. Like he'll just look over and all of his dead relatives will be on a log hanging out, smiling at him,
And Yoda was there, and my father. His fantasies are very childlike, and this is just another example of John having these childlike fantasies. If it's not beating up his enemies, then
It's being the captain of a boat.
captain of a boat, owner of a comedy club with his name on it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if it's Stuttering John put his name on it, it must be a really good comedy club.
Well, he crosses the finish line before there's no prep for the race. He just sees himself crossing the finish line in first place. So it's not a question of how many little details go into running a comedy club, how many huge details go into it. None of those factor in. It's I'm going to be there. I'll be booking the comics. I'll have my feet up. Everybody's going to do everything for me. And that's the way he's always that's his lotto ticket, man. He's always hit that scratch off where he's in a position that people can't believe he's in, and he has so little to do.
Well, the two words that John loves the most are no risk.
Yeah.
He's not going to put up any of the money. This guy's just going to buy him a comedy club that John can just hang out at. I like your idea. He's just back there drinking the beer.
Right. Two other words, open bar.
Yeah, I know. They're like, I don't know how this happened, but we're actually taking a loss at the bar. This has never happened before. What's going on here?
Where the hell is all the Cool Whip?
Right. Well, we just watched Blunder Years today, and he's holding up his Tonight Show mug, and he talks about how when it was their last day, he grabbed guest 1, host, guest 2, guest 3, and we just imagine him with his shirt up, and he's the only one probably taking shit from the show, running out with every mug that he could grab.
He's got the pen behind his ear. He's throwing shit on his head and stuff.
Garbage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that stuff's very valuable as you could see when he was trying to sell. Was it the mug that he was trying to sell?
No, the
Howard
watch.
Stern mug? The watch.
It was the watch, the Tonight Show watch.
What
That
did he
meant so
want for it?
much
A couple
to him.
$100, I think.
Yeah, for sure. He wanted a couple $100. Yeah.
I'm the only one who owns this because no one else wants it.
Well, you know
That's
why he takes the mugs, right? It's to prove to people that he worked there.
Is that his resume? When he walks into Stephanie Miller, he's just like, yeah, so I brought my own mug, see?
He's drinking 3 beverages.
Yeah. It's like athletes who've won gold medals don't walk around with the gold medals day and night. You
Not
know
usually,
what I mean?
No.
Right.
Act like you've been there.
So this job situation where he claimed that he had the 6 figures, he talked about it a lot too. And he was ramping up. I'm wondering what there was to it because he kept saying, I'm going to leave the Dabbleverse. Shuli's going to be so upset. We've seen this before when he's threatened to leave the Dabbleverse. He was gone for a week. Shuli was very upset. I mean,
Oh, when
couldn't
those
console the
photos of him in Jamaica came out, I was
Yeah.
livid.
I know.
I've never seen you like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think we threw a party on Uncle Rico's show when he said that he was leaving last time. But again,
Yeah.
childish fantasies. You'll miss me when I'm gone.
Right.
Everyone's going to be very upset when I go away. And it just never works out the way that he thinks it's going to work out in his head. But what was it about this job? My theory was, because he's been talking about going to New York. He was going to go to New York for a Yankees game, realized he had to pay face value for the tickets, decided not to. But then he was going to go to New York the next week after the World Series, and they're going to go to the Belmont, and they were going to do all this stuff, and he hasn't gone to New York. My theory was that he was going to go to New York, not podcast for a week, and hopefully get all these crazy reactions from Shuli and Barnes and Noobs and everyone else freaking out.
I have a theory.
Yeah, what's your theory?
He doesn't remember saying that.
Oh, shit.
That's
Very
strong.
possible.
I've heard a theory that he has been told not to come. He's been told that he is not welcome this year for
That's a
Christmas.
much juicier theory.
Yeah, why was he going to New York anyway? What was the point of the trip? I don't
Well,
even know.
he does that every year for Christmas. He goes
Christmas,
home right to mom,
Mhm.
so that way he
For
gets
2
a
months.
gift. So that way he gets a gift on Christmas, most likely.
That's funny.
Sad.
You know.
That's funny. Adam, do you have a theory on this job?
You know, I got a little insight into how his mind works a couple years ago when he had an audition come in for something. I can't remember what it was, but he hadn't made the tape yet. And he was already kind of talking about having booked it and how we're all going to feel once he books it. And we all know when you're up for a big job, you try and not talk about it so as not to jinx it. I think from that point to now in his mind, as soon as he even has an interview for anything, he's on the job and we're all going to be jealous.
It might be worse than that. He might have just saw that there was a job opportunity on a website somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to get this job. That's it, man. See you later, suckers.
But more specifically, I really believe this is going to be a theme today, that Chris is right, that he is now blackout drunk every night. And I think that's why he doesn't know why the temperature was left at 80. And even he has marveled at it. And he's like, I don't know how that happened because he doesn't remember the cuts, the bruises, what he said on the show. It's all blurring.
Yeah, he did say a very funny thing. We played the clip on WATP this week where he goes, yeah, I set the thermostat at 80 because I guess I get cold at nighttime or something. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, it's your life. What do you mean? you guess?
Exactly.
Do you or don't you?
Are you asking us?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Again, I've heard a rumor. I don't have any proof of this, but that he is no longer in control of the thermostat once the bills started coming in, and that it is a remote controlled app for the that he does not have the password to, so he cannot change it. So one of the theories we have is that she's slowly trying to kill him. You know, his mom, by just cooking him.
Or
slow.
she's running an Airbnb and he doesn't have control over it and has to rent from her.
Yeah. That's a definite possibility that she's just sitting there going, listen, I own this house and I'm not going to let you just turn it to 70. It's very expensive to do that. And so she's controlling it. I know that's what's been your theory. And we heard from Rocco when we were in Detroit a couple weeks ago. Rocco was telling us a story about how he stayed in Georgia at an Airbnb and turned the thermostat down. It kept getting pushed back up. And he's like, finally contacted the owners, like, what's going on? This thermostat's at 78. And they're like, oh, yeah. It's $50 a day for every degree you want to bring it down. What? That is a real thing.
At one point, he got the password, and then they realized that it was a bad idea, and they changed it. And he was like, "Hey, let me get the new password." They're like, "Yeah, we'll get that right to you." And then it just never came. That was it.
Even John's explanation for why he was so sweaty, he said, "Yeah, I set it at nighttime to 80 degrees because I get cold at nighttime." He wasn't sure, but that was one of his theories. Well, why didn't you turn it down during the day?
Right.
It's so hot in this room. Like, yeah, I mean, you can adjust that right now if you want.
Well, hold on. His explanation for being sweaty on a show was, I just got home from the gym.
I took a
and
shower.
then I took a shower.
Yep.
And I'm all sweaty.
Happens all the time.
Take a
Chris.
cold shower, dummy.
Yeah, that's not true. There is no during the day for him. He got up 5 minutes before whenever
absolutely.
he starts streaming, and that's what we're seeing, and that's why he's still so sweaty and gross. He's not sweaty and gross from the gym. He's sweaty and gross from having just woken up in a 80-degree room in Florida that's been hotboxing all night.
You think he's got one of those plastic covers, the see-through covers in hotels over the thermostat when they don't want you fucking
Right,
with it?
yeah, they're not allowed to
It's
touch
a lock.
it.
It's in a lock box.
And there's scratches from him trying to get inside of it.
Yeah, right.
If I can bend this paper clip, I can get the thermostat.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that theory. Okay, let's watch this My Lost Interest video. I want to see. I haven't seen this yet. Thanks to My Lost Interest.
But anyway, I don't know. We got. So we're talking about boats. Oh, so and Kevin got so mad about having a boat. He's like, "You don't have a boat." He did an hour and a half show, Vince. I swear to God, an hour and a half.
Yeah, you should see what he did when I told my wife my mandolin was on the floor.
Yeah.
He did 2 hours on that.
Did a year and a half.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Pinky can go off on dumb things for a long time. It's very true.
He did 4 months on Mike Calta giving out his phone number and attacked me for a fucking year over it.
Yes. That's Pinky for you.
Yeah.
Saying how I don't have a boat, and he ruined his relationship with the sorcerer, who's that psychiatrist that goes on his show, because the sorcerer said, it looks like John has a 26-foot Sea Ray. It's a very good boat, and then Pinky went nuts.
Is that what the sorcerer? I'm not paying attention to LLC. Is that what the sorcerer said? That they ruined their relationship? What kind of relationship are we talking about here?
Yeah. I can't imagine my wife going, "Have you heard from the sorcerer?" And me going, "We're not talking right now."
I'm not talking to the sorcerer anymore.
Sorry.
He said something that really upset me.
He just just couldn't handle it.
I did get this text from, I won't say who, but let's say he's a greasy wop that dresses up sometimes like a puppet.
Yeah.
And he told me something very specific. He says he has a friend in the banking industry that knows that a loan was applied for a watercraft and rejected, and then someone's mom was added to the loan application in order to purchase the craft, and they have a monthly payment on it.
Well, that's not me.
So you don't have
The lip smack.
Tell number one. Yeah. Tell number one. Here we go.
a monthly payment on your boat.
No.
Here comes the jowls.
Right.
Do you have wait, did he just ask, do you have a monthly payment on your boat? And John said no. Would he pay cash
Correct.
for it? What's he talking about?
Wait, right. He says no, but then watch, he'll go into the he'll do that whole thing because I don't even know. Watch.
Why would he say no to, do you have a monthly payment on your boat?
Because he thinks we are all as dumb as he is, or as drunk as he is, or whatever the fuck his issue is. He thinks we're on the same level.
So you don't have a monthly payment on your boat?
No. And I don't and a loan was no. No, I don't know where he's getting that information from.
You're giving off indicators of deception. I'll get the exact quote.
That's a classic.
You sure do look like you're lying a lot right now, John.
The tongue's out, you know.
Yep. All the tells right here. I've told you before, Shuli.
Yeah.
I could play poker with this guy.
Oh.
Whoever he can borrow the money from, I would take it.
Yeah, except that we like his buddy, Mike.
Yeah, right. I don't want to take Mike's money.
Poor Mike was in such a hole because of this idiot.
Because I didn't care whether you did or you didn't, but to them, it's a big deal.
Well, but see, this is why I'm giving these indicators. Because Cardiff put out a tweet that they did a credit check on me. And I called Experian because if they are looking at my credit, then you can't be doing that.
There's a lawsuit coming down the pike.
This is nuts. And I wanted to talk about this
Yes.
anyway. It's on my list and we'll get to it. But Cardiff just put out a post. He didn't say it was John or anything like
No.
that.
Didn't.
He just showed a 440 credit score and said, because I'm in the baking business, I can look this up on people. And John called Experian over that.
First he bragged that he's a member of Experian,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
a
They
lot
take
of
care of
people
me, I'm
are.
a member.
Yeah, a lot of people are for $10 a month, but
I
whatever.
have a Discover card, so I'm a pretty big deal.
Yeah. But also, instead of just going, this guy's a fucking idiot, that's not my credit score. By saying you're getting the authorities involved, you're basically saying, I have a 440 credit score.
He called Experian and went, hey, how come my credit score is higher than it used to be? My name's not on any of my bills. I don't get it.
What'd I do?
How did I pull that off?
Well, Adam, I'm curious what you think on this theory that he's so out of it that he doesn't even bother to check his actual credit score. He just assumes by seeing that score, that's his score.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think the idea of either joining Experian or either finding out his password or resetting his password and logging, like none of that is going to happen. He's not going to do that. He's not going to check. He knows it's low. He knows he's not going to fix it anytime soon. He's given up on having credit cards or a credit score. So he assumes that's real. And this is like a breach of information. And he now has a case.
Let's talk about that because John admitted to not owning a credit card back when he went to Atlantic City for the
Yeah, Vince had to buy him a plane ticket, remember?
He couldn't buy a plane ticket. So do you remember when he had to bring his MacBook in because he kicked it off the bed and smashed the screen?
Yeah.
And he didn't have the $750
Yeah.
in order to pay for it. Didn't he claim he had a credit card at that point? It was almost like he was bragging. He's like, so I put it on the plastic. Like, okay. That's what every person does. I don't know what.
Debit cards are also made of plastic.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. He probably has a debit card for his checking account with all that sweet, sweet YouTube money coming in.
Or mom's controlling the card like the thermostat.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
If his mom's name is on his credit card,
His cell phone is in her name. Like,
is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. Fact, Jack.
This is so insane. This is so insane.
So is his big lie that he's a millionaire or that he's poor? I'm losing control of the story because
Yeah.
it's
Depends on who
switching.
he's talking to.
Right, depending on who he's talking to and watching him
Right.
debase himself and just coming off as homeless to get out of paying Vince that month. And what's happening now, and then how he's immediately back to believing everything he says. It's like these are really desperate kind of end time moves on his part.
Yes.
He's not even aware anymore. He's just saying whatever the fuck.
Right. He's got the guy who he cried to last week that he can't afford to pay him on the show today while he's laughing about Brennan being mad that he's doing so well financially that he bought a boat.
Mhm.
And it's like he doesn't there's no bullshit there now. Like he doesn't even care about paying Vince. He's
Well,
more
He was
more
begging
focused on
Vince
the brag.
again today to
Was
not
he?
take his money. Yes. And Vince's like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's not get into that.
Here's my
it's so
offer.
pathetic.
Here's my offer. What does he owe Vince? Because at this point, TSN might be interested in purchasing Vince's share in Stuttering John's channel and being co-owners of that. So
Vince brought that up today. He said, I could sell it to TSN or WATP. And John's like, what? You can? He's like, yeah, I could.
hey,
He
shoot
didn't
me a
like
number.
that at all.
He didn't like the sound of that at all.
Shoot me a number.
All right.
Let's talk.
You want to purchase? What's John going to do? He's got to tank his own show. I don't even know if he knows how to do that.
I'm all in for that. I'm all in for that.
It's so pathetic, him trying to weasel his way out of this agreement that he has with Vince. And this theory on it is that because Vince has more money than him, Vince shouldn't want him to pay what they settled for. Now, I'll give you my theory on this. I think the settlement was $2,000 plus a percentage of super chats for an allotted amount of time. And John didn't have $2,000. So he goes, okay, well, we'll set up a payment plan. So John's going to pay $2,000 over 6 months. I seriously, that's the money that we're talking about. We're talking about a couple $100 he's got to pay a month. And John's going, I can't do it. I got to pay my accountant $1,000.
But his attitude is like how I felt when I was a teenager. My dad told me to get a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait, you got money.
You're right.
I'm really comfortable here.
You just raised my allowance. What the fuck?
But even to go back to the Tonight Show mugs, like in his mind, well, Jay Leno's a millionaire. He doesn't want his mug with his name on it for the Tonight
Right.
Show. I deserve that. I should get that. I'm owed that, you know?
That's interesting because, you know, Howard, I don't know if you guys have heard the story, but for a Christmas bonus one year, John got popcorn.
Yeah.
And he
It rings a bell.
He talks about that
But
all
there
the
was
time.
something at the bottom of the popcorn, right? There was
No,
something-
no, he
No.
reached, Adam, you can't believe this. He reached his hand in there and couldn't find a check.
Unbelievable.
I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But then Jay was so generous that he paid people out of his own pocket a severance package. I got $110,000 when the Tonight Show was taken off the air, something that everyone in the world knew was going to happen. It was
Right.
announced by NBC. This was not a surprise.
Right.
The show came off the air.
For 9 months, they pulled the rug from under us.
Jimmy Fallon's taking tours of the place every fucking day. Going, all right, we're going to move this. I know it's in a different spot, but not the point. The point is, it was obvious to everyone. Jay Leno is a sweetheart of a guy, and now John expects every millionaire to be that generous with their money.
He also felt that way about Howard Stern and Tom Chiasano. And we all saw the second he had a little bit of money and was helping out his friends who were renting his apartment at the time with the rent control. He was not like, hey, guys, I'm making more than you. You're interns. You don't have to pay me.
Right.
He took the money.
He subletted it to Grillo and someone else on the show. I forget who.
For a rate where he got to take a profit for
He was
more than the
making money
actual
on it.
rent.
Their shitty little 2-bedroom, whatever. All right, let's get
Under
back
the
to-
guise of let me help my
Right.
friends out.
Right. All right, let's get back to this clip here. It's almost over.
I'm not requesting that. So it's Rocco who's the guy that's doing it?
No, Rocco wrote this. Well, I'm not saying who, but you can make your own judgment. Vince, what say you? Someone has come forward saying, I don't know why I wrote this. Someone has come forward saying crayon hints about John not being able to get a $286 month loan in his name and how to get his mom to take out the loan for the boat.
What is crayon?
I think
So you saw
Where does Crayon live?
you saw where John went bullshit? It was over the dollar amount.
Yes.
He's like, okay, no, it's actually $253. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because the payment question gets asked again. Check it out.
Yeah. But watch how John, that's where he calls bullshit.
Right.
He's watching it. He's going, how does he know this? How does he know this? And he's like, no, it's not 286.
about John not being able to get a $286 month loan in his name and how to get his mom to take out the loan for the boat.
What is crayon?
I think it must be a typo. It said come forward saying crayon hints. That must be some form of a typo. But
No, so he's reading it wrong right there. What Rocco wrote was that's the name of the boat. Crayon hints.
Crayon.
how much is your monthly payment?
Oh, no wonder he's.
I don't, Vince. I'm not talking about anything about any of my finances with you, but
So
I am
now-
going to tell you that if this guy,
He said, if you cut it this time, he goes, how much are your monthly payments? He goes, I'm not talking about
Yes.
that with you.
Right.
It's not,
At first
I
he goes,
don't
there's not
have.
monthly payments. Yeah. So
Right.
now it's okay.
Right.
Good catch.
is looking at my private information, that's a red flag for me. Would you want anyone looking at your private information?
This is the guy with a PI.
Yeah.
Who's constantly looking at people's private information.
It's his biggest flex.
Yeah, right. And holding it over people all the time. Mumbling Nick. He's got photos of his family. He knows where he works.
Yeah. Plus, you're crying to a guy who loves private information on people.
Oh, I know.
who's
Vince,
with
would you like to know who's looking for your private
Yeah.
information? Vince is like, that's all I've been doing today is looking at people's
Yeah.
private information.
Kind of sick of it.
The gall. Can you imagine Vince is just like, I know, it's crazy, John. I just,
Yeah.
I don't condone it.
Those people are losers.
Yeah.
It's worth noting
If
what we just
Rocco's-
witnessed right here. What we're seeing is something we rarely ever see, which is John listening. Like, I was not familiar with that face. He was listening to what Vince was saying and trying to understand. We rarely see him even try, but it's
Well-
an interesting face he makes when he does that.
That's a great point Because if Clay is on or Rob Saul is on, John is not listening.
Checked out.
Nope.
He's better than them. He's bigger than them. He's doing them a favor that they're on his show. Vince, the guy he owes money to, and is obviously smarter than him. You're right. He's actually sitting there and trying to process this. Oh, what's going on?
But in John's defense, when Clay and Rob talk, none of us listen. Not just John. So
it's hard. It's
I was
hard.
gonna say back to him paying people back, like Vince.
Mm.
There's been trivial, minuscule bets that he has ducked out of.
Oh yeah,
but
Stein,
when you owed him
$100, yep,
wasn't he up your fucking ass about
course.
it? Yeah,
Yes.
amazing.
Right. I should have held out longer.
Make him sweat.
Yeah, I should have.
make
That
him a
really
bet.
wasn't an interview with OJ. It was not. I'm sorry.
No.
He yelled at a limousine with the window rolled up. Stop it. Interview.
Back for me. Would you want anyone looking at your private information? If Rocco's doing that, if I find, I'm going to find out who did, because I called Experian, but they weren't there, and now we have a holiday.
I called Experian. They were, who's asking for us?
Motley Fool didn't answer.
Stuttering John, I'm not home. Tell John I'm not home.
The lovely Spanish cleaning woman who answered the phone. You were very nice.
He's insane. God, I would love to hear more so than the Kate Meany phone calls. These phone calls that he makes to these companies to get
the
to the bottom of this
FBI,
stuff.
to-
FBI.
to,
Oh my
you know.
God, the phone calls to the FBI. I'd pay any amount of money to hear those. Is there a FOIA request we could do or something? Is that
please.
how does the law work?
How long into the phone call does it take for him to mention that he's Stuttering John and wait for a response? Like, how quickly do you think
What's
he
the
brings
over
it up?
under?
Immediately.
Under 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Then that's the moment they know he's crazy.
That was the thing. Yes, correct. That was the thing when the guy who met him at Pickwick was telling us the story.
Correct.
Where I think he was overhearing him talking to other people. And that's like the first thing he does. By the way, I'm Stuttering John on the Howard Stern show. The first thing he does.
Yeah, Sheet Shitterson's amazing documentary on the Dabble versus the Part 1. He actually talks to a couple patrons in one of John's favorite
That's where
hangs.
it was.
Right.
Yes.
Yes,
I love
and
that
the
so
and the
much.
guy
I saw
and he
that.
asked him how soon, and he goes right away. The guy's drunk off his ass, but he knows that to be a fact.
That's great.
Yeah,
I spoke with Sheet Shitterson the other day, by the way, and part 2 is coming out soon.
I can't wait.
Yes, it's almost done. I'm very excited about it too. Part 1 was fantastic.
But tomorrow I'm calling Experian because I'm a member, and I'm going to find out who ran the last credit check.
Also, AAA.
Right. You're not gonna believe it. I broke down and they came to me. It's unbelievable.
Guess how much it cost me? Man, it was zero. It was zero.
Now, Vince, I don't give a fuck what your indicators are because you could stick it up your ass. I've maintained that my credit sucks.
Right.
So what are they learning? I have shitty credit. I do.
We're learning that's way worse than anyone could have possibly have fathomed.
And you could have fixed it by now. You mentioned this years ago. You could have turned it around by opening a credit card and paying the bill.
Yeah, he's going through the
He's still
list
blaming
of
his wife. You're right.
right, blaming his wife, the first house he bought. Again, nobody held a gun to his head and told him to buy a mansion in Calabasas. That's insane.
Oh, when he was talking about that, I saw this on the Uncle Rico show where he's talking about his $2.5 million mansion, something like that. As if he actually paid $2.5 million. Like he made payments for a little while and then stopped. You didn't buy a $2.5 million property, John. The bank owned it the entire time.
And do you remember why he stopped paying?
Yes, because he put it on the market. He was trying to sell it. He's like, why would I pay for it? I'm going to sell it. Because you still fucking own it, retard. It's crazy.
Insane.
I'm pretty sure that people that own mansions don't refer to them as their mansions. It's just their home
That's a very good
or
point.
their house.
Kitty gifted a Who Are These Podcast membership. Thank you very much for that. Kitty, if you were gifted this membership, Shuli, he can't help it. Now
I'm going through withdrawals, man.
Triggered.
It's all I know. It's all I know.
I would love to talk to your wife about what you're doing in your sleep. You're just so if you did get a gifted membership, you want to sign up for our membership on YouTube, go to the community tab and you'll see the links there for our bonus episodes. We're doing one with Dick Masterson on Wednesday night. We moved it to Wednesday night this week. We do 2 bonus episodes every single month. And of course, Who Are These Podcasts live and unedited every Wednesday and Saturday. And you go there and you get the link to that. So thank you for gifting a membership. John Sunken Boat, toot toot. Here we go. Great lineup today. Skol! Dismas with 10 something or others. John is a lowlife and lives his life accordingly. 97.1 Puffy, $10. Glasses. Where are Chris's glasses? Yeah, you didn't get the memo?
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I have some
He does
somewhere.
have it right there. All right, there we go.
There you go. Get with
Lyndon,
it.
49, $2. One tell is if his lips are moving, he is lying. I've noticed that too. He's a pathological liar. Or as he calls it, a work.
Right.
Tampa's Wannabes and Has-Beens tours, $5 says, he's been waiting for his mom to purchase his plane ticket, but she hasn't wanted to see him. Now has to for Thanksgiving.
Poor thing.
You're right about that. He can't afford a plane ticket.
Well, not even afford. He doesn't have the card to buy it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I
someone needs to do
mean?
it for him, yeah.
Yeah.
Tampa's Wannabes and Has-Beens tours again, $5. He turns the air off as much as possible. Can't afford it. The deal with OSA is he pays utilities. That's interesting theory too.
That makes sense.
I have mortgage fraud on my list of topics to talk about today. We'll certainly get into that. Tom R, $5 says, if you've seen the Penguin series, the dynamic between Penguin and his mom are identical to SJ. Yes, I have seen it. And it's a good point because like he's trying to be a different person around his mom. And his mom's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I see what's going on here. It sees right through it.
Yeah, it's a great pull.
And a great subtle Danny DeVito reference because John hates that.
Yes.
Dang Lizard with €5 says, according to Stuttering John, his sisters were beaten the most by their father. Do you think that is true? Do they resent him? Is this reason for how Stuttering John sees women?
Just today on his show, he was recounting being beaten by his father. And in the past, he had said it was really just like a smack here and there. He was feeling nostalgic about his father. But today he was like, he would just beat me while I was crying. And while my friends were screaming, please stop, he would just beat me. I don't know what's true. I don't know.
I mean, we listened to his entire book and he did not tell that tale in his book. You'd think that it would have been brought up. He told the tale of him getting into a fight and his sister had to come and beat up the guy who was fighting him.
Yeah, I think that's
book.
I think that's every fight he had, if I remember correctly.
His classic short story, The Sump.
The Sump.
Kitty gifted another Who's Podcast membership. Thank you very much for that. Michael Gavin Ali show with $5. Hey, you think Stuttering John will crash his boat like the two Cleveland Guardians who got killed in 1993?
They don't let you write. What, they don't let you write Indians on there because they were the Cleveland Indians.
At the time it was the Indians, but Michael Gavin Ali, he wants to make sure he's not offending anyone.
Hey, woke lost the election. Get the fuck out of here, Michael.
The boat is interesting. He doesn't look like he's very good at steering it.
Oh,
do you remember this? I'm going to date myself. You guys remember the Dukes of Hazzard?
yeah, I know.
Sure.
Any sitcom, any movie from the 50s.
Everyone driving is driving like this, which is the craziest way to drive a car. You can't drive that way. When he was driving that boat in the video, I have. We can pull it up if we want to. He's driving that boat just constantly, just doing this and this back and forth. Like that's not how you drive a boat.
So anything. Much so you see the camera rocking back and forth because the guy's getting thrown around with this dummy steering.
Yeah, the second he takes his eyes off the ocean, the thing bumps and he has to go back to actually pretending to drive.
It's hilarious. Mike G, member for 4 months. Thank you. He says, love these shows, guys. Keep it up. FSJ, yes. Point Double Point is back Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Pat Shan with 10 pounds. As much as Vince sucks, he does make the puppet dance. Love the show being back. Adam, as a guy in entertainment, how aware are you of jobs being fleeting? Because John doesn't seem to know.
I'm aware that it all moved to self-tapes and that John hasn't had one in a long time. And I think if one did come in, he wouldn't even know what to do with it.
Explain that for us people who are not.
You used to have to go in person and audition for directors and casting directors, and now since COVID and quarantine, it's all self-tapes at home, meaning you shoot it just like this and then send it to them and you'll meet them when you book the job. Even the callbacks are now over Zoom, and it's tough because it means you need to do it all yourself and you need someone to read with you. So when I did get the chance to talk to John, one of the first things I offered him was, if you need help with self-tapes, like someone to read with, someone to set it up, I'm here. And
I remember that.
He was so not interested. Because it's not even something that's going to come up at all in his life. And that's when I realized that. So I think he's so outside of the industry that he's not even aware that he's no longer a part of it, because he's fooled and continuing to be intoxicated by his name recognition, which is legendary and will be with him till the day he dies. But the day he tries to open that comedy club called Stuttering John's is the day he's going to learn that he does not own that name. Howard and them own that name, and he's just continuing to run with it. And it's Howard's generosity that's keeping him from a lawsuit.
And I think, Adam, you brought up an excellent point about him knowing he's on the outside looking in, because that 10th anniversary Tonight Show thing where he had people write their names and addresses and phone numbers, like that's his back in. That's his way to get back in there, hopefully, right?
Mm-hmm. You can see how outside of it he is, because he constantly, it's one of my favorite things he does, is mistakenly big time someone on his show only to find out that that person actually has a comedy special or an HBO special or a tour or like a whole career. And he's always shocked and disappointed and scared and hurt, and then doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know. So I'll try and big time you even more now. He never looks up anybody. That Louise comic was the best example of that. He's so outside of it. He's not interested.
That was the woman who he saw open, or he saw her on a comedy show he was supposed to do, and then he didn't do because they were filming it.
Yep.
So he's like, she was really funny. Brings her on the show, and he goes, you know, I can help you out. You ever think about doing like an HBO special? She goes, oh yeah, I have an HBO special. He goes, oh, you do? He's like, yeah. Oh, shit.
At one point, he's like, how much do you pay for beer at the Comedy Store?
Yeah, right.
They
He
charge
actually
me
did.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a joke. He actually asked her.
It's hilarious. That was a great, I miss those interviews when you used to have people like that on. The other thing too, and I'm not a fan of everything that came out with John missing child support payments. Like, that was a peek into things that we have no business seeing, except for the fact that I did a special on this on WATP on our Patreon. I loved the emails he was sending to people in HR and different contacts he had at CBS and NBC. It was so pathetic. He had no idea. He's like, if you ever need someone to star in their own sitcom, or if you want a guy to like be on his own reality show.
The content alone was pathetic, but his execution was like childish.
It was childish. I mean, I'm not in show business, but I've been in business.
Yeah,
and I know that's not an email you send to someone that's going to get any results for you.
Yeah, it's like going to an open mic and the next day calling talent agencies and going, anyone looking to rep me? You know, I just did got my first open mic under my belt. I'm available.
My favorite was, we should go back and find that, when he declared that he'd be fine with starring in his own sitcom. Do you think that there's executives sitting around going, if only we could find someone who wants to star in their own sitcom? That's really what the problem is. There's no one wants to do it anymore.
The way he compartmentalizes is really incredible, because he thinks, on one hand, what he's doing here in the Dabbleverse exists in a bubble and no one outside of this can see it, when in reality, his family, the whole world, everyone he's ever worked with, if they just do one search of his name, this is what's coming up. So he thinks it exists on its own, but also he mentions when he searches his name in Google, he sees so much. I'm like the star of the internet. Or when he searches his name in YouTube, he's like, I see so much stuff every day. He doesn't realize YouTube is feeding that to him because he likes it. He thinks everyone opens their YouTube and it's just Stuttering John all day long. So how can these two things coexist? It's crazy.
And that happened to Aaron Imholt from Steel Toe as well. When all of the shit was going down with, he came out and said that they were wife swapping and there was drug use. He thought he was the biggest news on the planet. He's like, I mean, you open up YouTube and all videos about me. It's like, we get for you. You don't know that YouTube actually has an algorithm.
He doesn't want to know.
It's so fucking crazy.
It was really weird. We'd be like, I want to thank all the new listeners coming in here after my wife's getting fucked by a different guy. Thanks for tuning in. You know, wild.
Dang Lizard, €2 says, you're wrong. Stuttering John is part of the Vince lawyer and won the lawsuit. Oh, my bad. I didn't realize. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Lawsuit is a strong word. Look,
I know.
everybody's like, Vince is amazing. Anyone can do what Vince is doing. The mark is not difficult to fool. You understand? So it just takes a little bit of effort and pretend you like him and spend some money on the guy and you're in.
I mentioned this on WTP this week. Vince is treating John the exact same way he treats High Pitch Eric.
He treated Eric better, actually.
He might have.
I know for a fact he did. He actually looked out and was concerned for Eric. You know, when Eric's father passed away and Eric's family, you know, the will came out and they tried to fuck Eric out of money in the will. And Vince ran to help him with that and helped him with that. Was a big help with that. Like, he legitimately cares about Eric. You
don't think that would happen if, you know, God forbid, Osa passes away? You don't think that Vince would help John in a similar situation?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because the move John filing the ethics thing, I think really pissed Vince off, rightfully so, you know? And so I think he's just saving that for a rainy day like the psycho that he is.
But Vince, you know, I had no choice. I mean, you know, you realize like you had a big part in that happening.
For everyone. He does that for everyone. He did it for Kate. He's doing it for Vince. If I can just mention the boat thing real fast, it's freaking me out the way he got a boat. Yep. He got online. He bragged about it.
Yeah.
Then he did it again. And he went, KB, I bet you're seething at home, fuming with your miserable life, so jealous while I'm on the high seas. So KB takes to the air and he had some things to say about it. And John's response is, what did I do to you? Out of nowhere, KB is attacking me. What did I do? All I did was buy a boat. Okay.
Yeah, this coaster that we got a Dabble on too perfectly sums up John's posture. Well, KB is saying horrible things about me. What did I
thought
do?
he lived and died over who drew first blood.
Right.
You drew first blood. You also said some horrible things about Kate Meany, really horrible things over and over again, and she retaliated. That's how this stuff happens. He's told like, I watched for about an hour and he told like 4 different stories to Vince today about him just sitting there, minding his own business, donating to charities on his phone while someone entered his orbit and just started screaming at him like a monster, anti-Semitic, you know, just anything he could think of. And he tried to diffuse the situation, but this person just would not. And I think that's how he views everything.
Yeah. We always go back and forth with the debate. Is John lying or does he actually believe the things that he's saying? And I think in a lot of cases, I mean, John's lying all the time, but in a lot of cases, the way he perceives the world is incorrectly. He actually thinks that people are all coming after him and he never did anything. I think that he thinks he never did anything to Shuli. You know, he said he was his mole, tried to get him fired. Same with J.D. Harmeyer, tried to get him fired. Like, John goes after people trying to ruin their lives. That's what Vince keeps trying to tell him. Like, no, John, you have to learn the lesson. I can't let you not pay this payment or you won't learn the lesson. You can't go around trying to ruin people's lives. It's unacceptable.
Well, why are you trying to ruin my life?
Right.
You started it.
Hey, here's a debate. Blood. Here's a debate question for you guys. As viewers of John, what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the threatening and the acting out or the walk back after that backfires and people were saying, hey, you can't say that or terms of service or whatever, that walk back begins?
Yeah, the latter is definitely better. The performative John, I've been saying this for a while now, is so annoying. No one's buying it. It's fake. It's phony.
You mean this?
Yeah, right. I like when the real John comes out. When he was talking about how poor he was to Vince, I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch this for a while.
Yeah.
There was a moment when Hitman Dan was there and Dan came into frame and John had to say something about like, don't be normal. Don't treat me the way you normally treat me. Don't talk to me the way you normally do on camera. This is all a completely different world. You could see he was genuinely afraid. Like the other day when he got an order or he got up in the middle of talking to Rob Saul and left him hanging, opened the door, went outside, got some beer, didn't want the camera to see that he was bringing in beer, but we just got that glimpse of his body and how the strokes have pretty much, paralyzed, that one side, and he's now like Richard III leading with his good side, like just not using this side at all. He's learned to just kind of live with this one side, and that's why he appears hunched over, because everything is just this other side. His body is like leaving him and going on to greater things, and he's not particularly concerned. He's just kind of dealing with it and doing what he does, which is
he's gonna
really
start playing guitar again, Adam. You didn't hear that? He bought a tuner.
any day now.
Once he gets the open wounds checked out on his hand.
It's been years, and they're getting worse. And I'm like, I can feel them on me just looking at him. You're not concerned. You're not going to go get that. I think he can't tell whether they're accidental bruises from a blackout he had last night or an ongoing inner issue, and I think he doesn't want to know.
He doesn't want to know.
No.
Adam, do you remember that when he had the 2 sores on his forearm? Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I think I was reaching into the oven, and then my OCD made me do it again because I had to do it twice. It's like, is that what happened? Or like, you don't know?
He doesn't
know.
You
were that blackout drunk, you woke up in the morning and burns and didn't know why.
Well, that's also OCD. If I have 1 beer, I need to have 18.
Right, yes.
And here's why it's a nightmare, because what he described, the OCD having to burn himself twice, that's a best case scenario in this situation.
I don't like those odds.
All the other options are so much worse.
Yeah,
and think of the tapes. How many clips we heard with him shit-faced on that phone with her, you know?
Yeah.
And that was just a weeknight. And he was still teaching back then.
Okay, that's my favorite thing. On the tapes, whenever Kate says something nice or compliments him, his response is, "What?"
Yeah,
Every time it just stops him in his tracks, and he so desperately wants her to say it again. It's just like, just say it again, one more time. What? And then she says it, and he's just, it's been so long since someone said something nice to him. It's so sad.
And it was fake. Wasabista, the Duke of Spicy Wasabi, with 500 yen, says, question for the esteemed panel: how much do you think John spends on booze per month? Oh, this is a pretty easy one, I would think.
I'm not a beer guy. A case of beer is 24 beers, right? Yeah. Or is it more?
No,
24. Okay. What does a case of beer usually run?
About $25 probably, maybe 20.
Okay. Now factor in him not driving to go get it.
Oh, right.
And ordering it.
Yeah.
So add another, what, $15 to that?
Although every time he says he goes to Walmart, he does include beer on his grocery list. Yeah. So he does pick it up from time to time.
Or he gets he picks it up at Target where his butcher's at, where he gets his steaks.
Right.
Yeah.
So 18, I would say he drinks 18 beers a day on average.
Yeah, I'd say 1 case a week. 2 cases a week.
If you think he does 18 beers a day, and that's like $20, 20 times 30 is like $600 is probably what he spends on beer. Oh, but I'm
higher, Bob.
I'm not factoring in the pub.
Yeah, dude.
I forgot. He's still going to the pub now and hanging out there.
What pub?
Wow, there's Stevie Tomatoes.
Oh, he's allowed there?
I don't know. He says that he goes to multiple places now. I think that he wears out his welcome quickly.
Oh, do you now?
Can you imagine? This blowhard is wearing out his welcome.
I did find it interesting that somebody pointed out on Dabblers that his gym and the Radio Shack that he mentioned are all in walking distance of Stevie Tomatoes. So,
of course I'm going to brag.
That's hilarious.
So when he's out there running, when he comes back and goes, had a crazy day today, everything's next to the bar. Everything's next to the bar.
That's great. Brother Ted, $5 says, you're all dummies. John's OCD prevents him from lying unless he's conducting an integrity verification or talking about a boat. You're right, Brother Ted. What was I thinking?
My apologies.
Let's head over to the super tip system and see what people have to say.
Welcome to my boat. This is definitely my boat. I tricked you. It's not my boat. I can't afford a boat. I just wanted to drive Kevin Brennan crazy. I tricked you again, KB. Of course I bought a boat. I'm rich. Got you, it's my friend's boat. I don't need a boat. Got you again, it is my boat. I'm a genius that never lies.
Literally what is bit, it's still going.
Yeah.
It's literally what is bit.
That super tip is moving this show along.
Very good. Thank you for that.
And what's the payoff? He's so concerned with the payoff of everybody else's bit. Yeah. What was the payoff of going just randomly one day? I was just kidding. They got me.
I don't pay things off.
Well, on paper, the payoff was to make Kevin mad, but then Kevin got mad, and then he was shocked by it, as if that wasn't the plan.
It's insane.
This fucking what I the goal? How do you have a show with no goal? What will you hit?
My boat is so much cooler than Karl's stupid pool in Cape Coral.
All right, I gotta play that one again. That's fun.
What the goal? How do you have a show with no goal? What will you hit?
My boat is so much cooler than Karl's stupid pool in Cape Coral.
All right, very good. Thank you for that.
I had to serve my kids down and not only explain that a racist is going into the White House, but also that our John has a boat.
These kids are like, whoa! Are we going to figure this out, Dad? I don't know. I don't know if we will.
John, your boat is so sexy. It made my panties drop like a bag of yayo at my knees when I'm done hard suckling a brown man.
I think that was the real Kate Media. A lot of these are AI, but I think that one was actually recorded.
I love her laugh.
Yo, my noggles. Are you telling me that I have a better credit rating than the hero of the stupid?
My mama is my credit rating, and mama is the best. I'm still waiting for my Thanksgiving invite. She loves my show. Better have that Phuket phone off this turkey day.
Wow, Karl's Frosted Tips coming in, who was recently very offended that John thought this was Vince the Lawyer. He assured me that he is not Vince the Lawyer.
Shuli, I have been told that you will be served with a lawsuit. Also, where's Lucy with her milkers? Lucy want to ride on my boat. I got a huge heart. Just do it.
Oh, should we do a work with Lucy? Where she's attracted to John? That'd be fun.
It'd be really easy to do.
Yes, he would definitely fall for that.
And, John came in hot with that Karl's Frosted Tips thing. He was like, Vince, and he did his whole lawyer thing, and he attacked him, and he said, what say you? And Vince was like, that's not me. John said, okay, I got bad information.
That was so insane. John always believes the last information he heard.
Yeah, right. And he thinks that guy is not the guy who has a political show the next day where we're supposed to take his advice on things.
Right.
And let me tell you a little something about Vince. Maybe that day it wasn't Vince, but after that day, it's definitely Vince from here on out.
The funny thing about when he was talking to Vince about it is Vince goes, oh, no, that's not my sock account. I do have a sock account that's like Karl went to SUNY Brockport, or, he had some other Karl something sock account. He's sitting on hundreds of sock accounts. He's like, but that one is not me. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that number of how many sock accounts he's got would shock everyone in this Dabbleverse.
Well, Frog, I think, has done the research to see how many of these signed up in, what was it, September of 2021?
Yeah, dude, it's the only accounts we block. And there's so many. Yes. It's crazy.
It never stops. Pat Shan, 5 pounds, says, thanks, Anna, for the explanation. Helps with the debate if he is more lazy or stupid. It is a ping pong match in my head. Oh, we go back and forth on this too.
Yeah, it depends on the day.
He's as lazy as he is stupid, though.
I think he's so lazy it made him stupid.
See, but maybe he was so stupid it made him lazy.
He's so lazy, this man.
See, John has a lot of thoughts, and they're all conflicting. He has all of the thoughts. He sees all the sides, and he thinks that's what makes him smart. No, what makes you smart when you're testing intelligence of an animal is their ability to learn that doing the same thing isn't working. I'll try something new to get that food. So he's stupid because after all of this morning, Vince was like, I know a beautiful woman named Cape Coral Kelsey who's in love with you. Yes. And John lit up like a cartoon from the 1950s smelling a pie on a windowsill.
Yeah, floating.
It was just complete acceptance, not even a question that this man is trying to play him because he wanted it so bad. That's a lack of intelligence.
Adam, I've said it before, but you're 100% accurate on this one because John has the playbook from his 0-16 season, And he keeps going back and running those plays over and over again, like we've been seeing this week with the 6-figure job and all the shit that no one ever believes. I'm going to go away. You guys are going to miss me. He keeps running these same things over and over again. It's just like, no one believes you.
Right.
You did this before. It didn't come to fruition. We knew it then. We know it now.
The number one play from that book is that he never, ever learns that this can all be tracked, that people have downloaded this. Even if you take your shows down, it doesn't matter.
He's still living in the pre-internet era.
Completely.
In his mind, he doesn't realize that we all have the receipts.
So you're telling me that there's no national Pepsi commercial that he filmed coming out soon?
Yeah, what happened to that? I mean, it's just
Think about
nonstop.
that transition went from he was interested, he applied for a job with Pepsi, and in his mind he goes, I know how I'll change it. Hey, guess who got a call back for a national commercial for Pepsi? You were wrong. You were right, but you were wrong. You know, that's again, he thinks we're on the same level as him.
Pepsi's
like we're going to sit there and
really
go,
should hire him to be in a commercial. If I saw John in a Super Bowl commercial, I'd buy stock in Pepsi. I'd buy so much Pepsi. Like this company gets it because they haven't figured out. All right, I'm going to make it about me real quick if you guys don't mind. Because John confessed something without knowing he confessed it just this past week. And, John always says, just do it whenever he brings me up. And I don't know if it's an OCD thing or he's just stupid, whatever it is. He can't stop himself. And so people say, you're calling Karl gay. 2 of your kids are gay. Probably not a great thing to call someone. And John goes, no, I'm not calling him gay. Why would you even think that? And so he kind of let it slip on the show. I played this clip the other day, but if it's worth checking out again.
Oh, get this, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the Duke had an espresso martini last night. Just do it.
You did?
As soon as he said espresso martini, he couldn't stop himself from saying, just do it, which proves he knows that he's calling me gay.
I mean, I have the clip from the tape if you want to hear it. I mean, it's,
Yeah, let's remind people what he thinks about people who drink espresso martinis. He said it to Kate Meany.
He drinks espresso martinis.
Yeah, that's a fag.
So there's proof right there that just do it is the same as the F slur for gay people in his mind.
I could have sworn I heard Fast Times at Ridgemont High on in the background there. Did you hear that?
Right.
No, Sean Penn has been contacted. He is partially to blame.
You guys ever watch a movie and then that's the only thing you do is speak in movie quotes? Oh, you're not Aaron Imholt? Then yeah, right. Most of us are able to choose other words than what we just heard in a movie that we saw. That's, I didn't even have this on my list, but I'll bring this up to you guys since, the four of us rarely get together and chat. It's probably the first time ever.
Yes, I tasted cum one. Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry. What?
Why does John watch the same movies over and over again? Is it because he's poor and can't afford to watch new movies? Or does he just have this nostalgia where he's living in the past at all times and wants to put himself in that place when he was in high school and he is in a rock band?
Well, I immediately think of Almost Famous with watching with his kids.
Yeah, he used to bring that up all the time.
Yeah, it's like that pleasure center that he just cannot not revisit.
What is that? There's a movie where people get stuck. Oh, it's a Brain Candy.
Brain Candy, yeah.
Yeah, the kids in the home.
Yeah.
Where they take the drug and they just get placed in their happy place and they're stuck in that
That's
forever.
a rare. Yeah, I just had dinner with my dad the other night. It's a very real thing.
Interesting.
But I think there's some fear in there too. Fear of going outside his comfort zone, fear of trying something new, experiencing something new. I think that has a lot to do with it. And it's just easier to go back and watch the movie that he's seen 80 times because he's used to it, right?
Yeah, he knows what to expect.
What did you say at the top of this? You said he's the no-risk guy, and it extends to everything. I don't even want to take a risk on not liking this movie. Let's go back to this thing that I'm an expert on, and I can pretend that I'm watching it with someone and explaining to them all the things that are happening, and they're enjoying it and respecting me for doing this. And I bet you he shouts at the TV and he's talking to people that aren't there and he escapes. It's all about escaping and into those movies he loves, into that comfort thing. It's all a part of that. Like there's nothing sadder than when he pulls up a clip on YouTube and we get to see all of the other clips, you know?
Well, and also when his mouth is moving along with whatever's being said, and he's watched it, so many times. Like,
that's an out of body experience. That's what like the pageant moms do while their kid is on stage, because it's their kid and a part of them is living this right now. And every time he comes on, he has to say, oh, look at that handsome guy. Isn't that guy handsome? And he's gone. He's just gone.
Wow.
So
wild.
John's money is not what it was. He was bragging about $8,000 in a month or whatever he was doing at a certain time. And the super chats are all $2 and $5. It's not what it used to be. If John wants to start making more money, he has to go to IRL streaming. This is what everybody wants. This is the obvious next step for him, because if you told me, Karl, you can sit down and watch John watch Jaws, I'm doing that.
Yes.
I'm skipping band practice. Sorry, Chris. I'm not going to make it tonight.
I'll get
John's
over
watching
it.
Jaws. And I need to watch him watch these movies, Fast Times, whatever it is. Because, yes, he's yelling at the TV. He's doing his performative thing, but he's by himself. I mean, he'd have to assume that he forgot the camera was on, because you don't want him like playing to the camera.
Sure.
Well, that's the problem with IRL and him doing it, is the word real is in it. And that's something he never wants any of us to ever see. If we ever do get a glimpse, it's by accident. It's because somebody exposed him, but he doesn't have the balls to say, and you're right. We've been saying it since he's come back. If he just would throw a camera on and walk around his house, he'd make a ton of fucking money.
Yeah, he's already admitted to either Rob or Clay or one of those assholes that he doesn't mind being insulted for money.
Oh, yeah. You could say shit about his mom for money. I just saw a clip on Dabbler's Anonymous.
So why not make more money?
Where someone called out his mom. He's just like, well, you gave me $5, so joke's on you. You're like, whoa. Yep.
Well, one of the blunder years we watched today was the second time Karl and John did a show together. And it was on John's channel. And
he was so unprepared for that one. He was so defeated. He just kept reading the chat. I'm like, okay.
Well, but what's crazy about it is you notice that for him, because he was just coming back, he made money off of Brennan, but his channel it just became monetized again. He was starving for money. So he didn't care what was said in those chats. He just wanted to keep going with the super chats. And one of them, of course, has the name of his kid and another thing. And you, Karl, you were the one that stopped him from reading it. And it took you like 2 tries to get him to stop reading it. You're like, John, you don't want to read. And he's like, what? Oh, okay. Thank you. And it's crazy. He's just
rewatch that.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah. I need you to send me the first episode you guys did. We want to cover that on Blunder. You should come on with
definitely.
us.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
For sure. I can send that to you. It's still up on our YouTube page.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I never took it down or anything like that.
I love those episodes because it really shows you that John cannot listen to accurate criticism. Like, he will do the kid thing of fingers in the ears, blah, blah, blah. He'll talk over anything. When somebody plays him a clip, if it starts to get too real or talk about the alcoholism or things that hurt him personally, he can handle the mom stuff. He can even handle the kid stuff. It's the things about his career or his ego that he cannot stand. And he'll just shout over you, Karl, because he doesn't want to hear what you're saying. And if it sneaks in, it's going to do damage that he can't fix. And he does not want to be haunted by that all night long. So he doesn't care. He'll rather look like a 4-year-old and go, blah, 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 than have to deal with the weight of whatever truth about him was just said. And it's amazing to see.
I remember you saying, I'm going to have to mute you. And he's like, ooh, ooh, are you? Like, it's just,
It's so childish. I remember I'd gotten like through 2 of my points, and and John goes, "Oh, I got you again, Karl." I'm like, well, can you at least agree that it's tied 1-1? I was like, nope. I was trying to be nice, but didn't matter. Speaking of John's family, and one of the things I've been saying about the Dabbleverse early on when this was created and Dabblers Anonymous started up, is that there's so many creative people in the Dabbleverse. Like the listeners are all content creators as well. And they do an amazing job. Of course, we always honor them at DabbleCon and we always appreciate their work. This one came in. Can you read what the user's name is on here? I got it here. Specific T 6072. A message to Stuttering John from his family. And it's just such a fun Photoshop right here that you got to appreciate the work that people put into these Photoshops and videos. Barnes and Noobs is always making these great videos. He had this one of John talking all this crazy shit to Kevin Brennan, but he turned his face into a clown face. And it just like shows like what everyone else is seeing that John doesn't understand.
Oh, I love it. 2 beers there and 2 espresso martinis.
Yes. The 2 kids both have espresso martinis.
Love that.
Makes a lot
That's
of
an
sense.
act of violence, Karl. My favorite thing that
Shouldn't be
Barnes
this
and
way.
Barnes and Noobs does is he'll have John make a statement and then he'll show you the hypocrisy right after, which is very necessary. We need that. Like when he was yelling at KB going, "Oh, you're going to call the cops because I might come to your house." And it's like, remember when he called you on the phone in a panic because Chad tweeted he might? And he was like, "I am calling the cops right now. Chad is coming to my house."
He called the cops. He called the FBI. He was talking about that again today, where they're just like, John, you keep threatening people with shit. Nothing ever happens. Like, is it my fault that the FBI didn't want to get involved? I called him 4 times. I made 3 reports.
Oh,
Like,
speaking of IRL, didn't he call the cops on Alyssa Giordano?
Yeah, well, he threatened to, yes.
Oh, and he invited them over.
He invited them over, then they were at his house. He's like, what the fuck?
I've never done that.
Two chicks in his driveway ready to spend the night. And he go, "Give me the police."
All right, Adam, you are a musician, so I wanted to torture you with this video that someone posted on Dabblers Anonymous. Now, John likes to make song parodies off the cuff. He thinks he's going to wing it and come up with like brilliant stuff.
Always
You wouldn't know it. It sounds like he wrote it. You wouldn't even know it's off top of his
And
head.
his go-to, for whatever reason, is Hey Jude. Now, I know it's the Beatles' biggest song of all time. I think it sucks balls. Never been a fan of that song. I hate it when John uses it as a song parody because he doesn't know when to stop. You're like, okay, that's enough, right? No, okay, he's still going.
Just like the song.
He's fully right.
Well, the band is the official band of Stuttering John song parodies. The Beatles.
It is.
All
right, so let's check this out.
You big KB, you big pussy boy. Why don't you go and get a hanky?
Why don't you? What were those words?
Why don't you? It's an ancient proverb. I don't want to get into it right now, but
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
I never made a threat against you. So that's not true. Don't be a pussy, 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 pussy boy.
Change keys right there. I just noticed. That's fun.
Can you imagine
This is
being
not-
his neighbor?
This is not auto-tune, correct?
What gave it away?
Can you believe it?
All right.
This is the thumbnail right here.
Yeah,
Shit.
Hey! Oh, pussy.
You're right. It
Boy!
doesn't stop.
I mean, these are not the right syllables to try to do this with. He's like, it's instead of Hey Jude, this one's called Hey Pussy Boy.
He's swept with emotion. Come on.
When he had his arms up, I thought, there isn't a shirt this guy can't sweat through. You know?
It's crazy. You guys were talking
Yeah.
about this the other day on Uncle Rico, where the sweat stains were like all the way around his shoulders somehow. Like, how does someone sweat like that?
They're meeting in the back. They're like
Ring
it's
around the
crazy.
armpit.
It's crazy.
Oh, pussy boy! Boy!
Sir, do you hear yourself?
Pussy boy! Pussy boy! Pussy boy KB!
Hold for applause.
He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Adam, is that as offensive to you as it is to me?
I have a couple thoughts.
Yeah.
All of his songs remind me of that episode of Rick and Morty where Rick was trapped a young person's body, and he kept writing these songs that
Right.
started normal, but they always ended just about himself and his problems, and he couldn't help that. That's what it always feels like to me. At the end, it's just an old, lonely, celibate incel in his house screaming for pussy. And that's very uncomfortable to watch because he doesn't realize how revealing that really is. You know, and the other thing is it calls back to what the chat said earlier. Is it laziness or stupidity? I believe strongly that with John, laziness is fear. And he writes these songs intentionally half-assed, knowing, well, if I ever really tried, it would be great.
The Opie defense.
Right. So when he's truly like at the end, he's like, man, you're not going to give money to that? Wasn't that amazing?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Neelax44. All right, someone's got to help me with this. John reaches out to Hollywood like he is Bobby Boucher calling Captain Insano to his water boy. What does that mean?
It's a Sandler movie, The Waterboy.
I know that.
Oh, well, that's all I got.
Okay. I saw that movie. It was when I was like, I think I'm done with Adam Sandler at this point. Any thoughts on that, Adam?
I don't quite understand it, but I'm sure it's correct.
I'm sure it's fantastic. Thank you for contributing to the show. We appreciate it. Hamhead, member for 6 months, says, when I Google naked boobs, it's weird. It's like the whole internet's nothing but naked boobs. Go figure.
Yeah, I've been at dinner parties where older men, TikTok will come up and they'll say that statement that they're not supposed to say, which is, yeah, I tried TikTok, but it's nothing but young naked women. And anyone knows, oh, you shouldn't say that out loud because that's just for you, buddy. That's just yours.
Right. That's what you're liking, unfortunately. Zach Hoffman, member for 8 months, says, hey, boys, is it normal to be doing your taxes in mid-November like he is now currently? Vince getting John to admit to a homo experience today was great. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Chris and I were listening to this just as before we started the show. Thank you for reminding me, Zach Hoffman. I wrote down the quote. We got to pull this clip. But they're talking about if John finds guys attractive or not. And he's like, I don't know about that. So John said to him, I don't judge if guys are attractive. Do I think you're attractive? No. That's literally what John said to Vince today. I was like, he is walking cognitive dissonance, Stuttering John. I don't know how you can live with yourself.
Then he went on to say, you went upstairs and I couldn't clip it fast enough. Oh, you never had a sword fight with someone? Yeah, I mean.
And then he told that story again about that chick who was sucking off his buddy while he was like in the room or whatever that story is. He tells over and over again. Yeah. Vince is obsessed with that story, but yeah. They got to do a lot of weird conversations.
Some shit's just not a team sport. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for that, Zach Hoffman. Rick from New York. Producer Chris needs to ditch the boring J Bass. Needs a Rickenbacker in his life. Lee, Squire, Lemmy, McCartney. Need I say more? Hashtag Imus for life. Trucker Andy has a Rick and he hates it. They sound great, but they're so bulky and I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. That's how I feel about them. Carlos Frosted tips $2. John Edward Melendez is trying to find gainful employment in Be Nice. Okay. So that is Vince. So Vince has created a Carlos Frosted Tips
I told you
avatar now. And I don't know why he feels the need to give it away. He always has to put JEM. No one else refers to him by his 3 initials except for Vince. I guess that's a little nod to us. Hey guys, I'm here. Thanks, Vince.
Right,
sometimes,
that's the thing.
Yeah, sometimes serial killers get bored, and after a while, they start to like call in and report their own murders because of the thrill. You know, that's what we're seeing.
Dang Lizard, €5. SJ ain't the goat with a boat. He just banned all L's, so he's just the gloat with a boat. He ain't fire, just a liar. Hashtag hacka. Yeah, he's calling himself fire now.
Oh,
what the? Anyone who refers to himself in third person. It's obviously annoying to begin with, but he's calling himself fire. It's insane.
But the best was he's flexing. He's going, you don't want fire. You don't want fire. And then the next day he's like, all I want to do is have a conversation.
Yeah,
like,
conversation.
you know, what are you getting threats from?
I loved when you guys played on Uncle Rico, John going, I just want to go to Kevin Brennan and just have a conversation with him. Then he was on the phone with Kate Meany. He's like, I'm going to pull him off his bike. I'm going to beat his ass. He's got all these.
He said he's going to kill him. He said, I'll fucking kill him. Yeah.
Again, he's a child with these fantasies that he has.
And he's been
childish
threatening you
fantasy.
guys for years. For years. It's been the fire, the bomb, don't mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns. And he was reduced today to threatening to, well, I did drive by Melton's house. And I do it again. That's his only threat left because that's all he's ever pulled off. He has to go back to Sharon Stone to have a successful win.
So that was his response when somebody goes, John, you keep threatening stuff. You never do anything. Oh, I never do anything. Like I didn't go to Patrick Melton's house. That was like one of the biggest pops of all of DabbleCon too.
Yeah.
When we got to watch John before his buddy started filming for Vegas beer sales. Jerry started filming. And we got to see John like getting ready for it. He's like, okay, hold on. Let me get framed up here and do this thing. It was so embarrassing. He counts it as a win. That's what I mean. When John and I debated each other, I'm just like, John, you don't think you're winning this conversation, do you? He's just like, oh yeah, no, of course I am. I'm like, oh wow, that's wild.
I'm still confused as to the boombox above his head. There is no scenario where someone holding a boombox above their head isn't equated with love and romance.
Right.
What was the bit? I don't understand what he was thinking.
Did you guys see me win that conversation?
As Pat Chan says, has anyone in Florida had the AC set at 80? No. You wouldn't have AC if you wanted it to be 80. It's no point.
Right.
Carol Dillon with €5 says, hardcore drinking and taking those tablets is incredibly damaging. I genuinely think, even if he stopped now, he's done too much damage. Wet brain. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
He's gone.
Yeah.
It's over. Diablo Sandwich $2. I hear Silent Mike is actually Vince Incognito. Is that true?
Better not be.
Could you imagine? That'd be a long con right there.
Now that's a work.
That'd be amazing. You had to learn how to play guitar and shit just to pull this off. Steve Hanning, $5. A friend's dad was an older alcoholic. He died at 53. Every single day, the only thing he watched was The Postman on repeat while 24 buds. Okay, that's a good point that I don't think any of us brought up, is that when you're blackout drunk, you don't remember what you did. So it's like, yeah, of course you keep watching the same movie over and over again. He doesn't remember that he just watched it
Right, it's
last
all new.
week. Yeah. CJ Spags, remember for 7 months. He's the Jim Carrey character in The Cable Guy, living in the childhood forever. Yes.
Maybe my favorite character in any movie.
That's part of narcissism, though, is that you're
Yeah.
you're stunted. And when you're a child, you think you're the whole world. You don't know anybody. You don't have empathy. You don't understand that. And John's never gotten out of that era.
Yeah.
No, he still talks about the time that he was learned saying the F slur or saying gay to people wasn't necessarily cool socially, and the world changed the day he learned that.
Right.
Whatever random day that was, anything before that gets a pass. And the people that were upset with Howard Stern are still evil assholes, even though that's what they didn't like. And now that he has learned it, that is the day from which we all must have moved forward. And that is the world we exist in now. Before it gets a pass, after, you're an asshole. No one is given the sympathy or the empathy that he expects from everyone around him to learn lessons on their own. And far be it from him to try and fucking teach somebody. Like, for real. Actually, for real.
In John's defense, Obama did make saying retard illegal in 2009, so we do have to all go along with that now.
Well, the day that happened was a big day for all of us.
Yes, correct.
Obama finally picked up a pen and put it in. Good for him.
He squashed it. Rick U 3220 $10 says, I wish Stuttering John would talk about his childhood more. I need more stories, like when he won his high school battle of the bands and got half the door fee. His brain is pickled and blends his memories with movies. Yeah, when he claimed he negotiated $10,000 for his band in 1983.
Yes.
It's like $50,000 in today's money for playing some Battle of the Bands. And because of that, didn't he get like a gold star on his diploma or something? He claims that because he negotiated that, they're like, oh, you don't just graduate. You graduate with negotiating skills.
No, the gold star is for being retarded. And, yeah, that's it. That's all I know.
Oh, that's great. Karl's Frosted Tips coming in again.
I heard KFT is VT. I'm so upset about Orangeman. I have been sucking 10 black cocks a day to prove I'm not racist or gay. Hi, producer Chris. Call me.
Hello.
Cock.
Yep, that sounds like Vince.
Producer Chris was near the Great Start coffee cart.
Oh, yeah, just to find out that they were closed.
Woke Dad's business, but it was on a Sunday, so they weren't open, unfortunately.
All right, hold on. We were shoehorning in movie stuff. I'm shoehorning in movie stuff.
Please.
Every 3 or 4 years, I have to watch The Godfather. It's like comforting, watching anything John's watched.
Mm-hmm.
So this reminded me of John.
I'm smart, not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect.
I mean, it sums him up.
I know.
To a T.
The fact that I'm immersed in one of the greatest movies ever, and I'm thinking about Stuttering John.
Yeah, you're like pausing, like I got to record that. Right. Need that drop for the board.
And talk about a brother dynamic. He talks about his brother-in-law as his best friend.
Yes.
But also, I almost just punched him in the face because I misheard something he said.
Yes.
He didn't mishear shit. They were goofing on his ass, and he brought
clowning
him there to fuck with him.
Yes. Yes, they were clowning because they're all watching the election coverage, and he was freaking out and saying all sorts of retarded things that he gets from MSNBC. And so they're just like, what an idiot. Wow.
I would invite him too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It'd be a lot of fun.
Imagine if she was crushing Trump. Would he be sitting there humble and modest and fuck? Of course not. He'd be running around. Yeah, you remember when he beat Tom in golf? Remember that fucking
Yes,
shit?
it's the most frustrating thing you could ever watch. It was one hole.
Yeah.
His shooting was so bad. He was all over the place. He got lucky. And he
Tom
acts
choked.
like he won the PGA that year or something.
He's acting like he beat Shaq.
Yeah. He in the beginning, he hit a really bad ball and then begged Tom to forgive that one. Let's just not count it. He begged him and begged him and begged him until Tom was embarrassed for him and agreed to let that one not count.
This comes up a lot.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. And then once again, Tom is punished personally for having done something nice for this guy, because then John goes out of his way to drive drunken, half naked in the golf cart screaming, I beat this guy at golf. No, you begged this guy for kindness and mercy, and he showed you. And now you're shitting on him for it, just like you've continued to do up until today.
Yeah.
So I think John's not a great guy.
But
it's convinced me he's kind of a dick.
It's a great point. He's embarrassed for him, so he agrees to it, and then he's embarrassed by him when he wins, Oh, what a piece of work that guy is.
Real quick, I just want to point this out because, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Trump won the election against Kamala Harris.
When?
I gotta
last week sometime. And
I'll take your word for it.
And John, he's on with Brian Karem, and John doesn't know what to think. He goes, let's bring on an expert to tell me how to think. It was almost verbatim what he said. Like, who cares about my opinion? Let's bring on, or no, why should I go with my own opinion? Let's bring Brian on to tell me what to think.
He said, I thought you said she was going to win.
Yes. But my favorite is then John is watching Rachel Maddow on MSNBC. And the next day, he's like, there was election fraud. John did not win. It was fake. And it's crazy to me. I'm not hearing this from anywhere else. And maybe there was fraud and Trump stole the vote. I don't know. But no one else is talking about that. And now John is, championing this viewpoint. That somehow,
every day it's a different excuse as to why they lost, And it's just
that's how easily manipulated John is. Like, John can watch any propaganda film. Trust me, 1930s Germany, John is definitely on the front lines. They're like, these Jews got to go. I don't know. Did you guys see that movie?
He'd be goose stepping 5 minutes into that fucking.
No shit.
You know
how organized they are.
Yeah, I love that coat.
You go, boss. I'm a boss.
Slurp, slurp, yum, yum. Everyone knows that I like
The goal?
Yeah, the goal.
Wow. Aaron today, I was watching, not to turn this into this little piggy, but I was watching Aaron Imholt this morning to address this thing that Nick Ricada told us on this little piggy on Friday, that Aaron would know what his spunk would taste like. And obviously also this leak now that Nick has every single thing that Aaron's ever Googled, every email he sent, every YouTube video he's watching, all this crazy shit. And so Aaron
how does he have that?
So Aaron went over to Nick's house back in November of last year, logged into his Google account on Nick's computer and never logged out. So Nick has access to everything he does on his Google account because of that.
What is it? But I mean, that can't be legal, right? To like release information.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not like he stole his password.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it might be illegal because Nick has been tweeting out, and this is crazy what Aaron's doing. I'm sorry. I'm just getting off. We'll come right back. I promise you. I'm weaving. He posted what his search history was on different days. And both days he would go to Kiwi Farms and read the Nick Rekieta thread. And then immediately from that, like not even a minute later, go to Pornhub and watch cuckold videos. He's reading about the people who hate Nick Rekieta, getting all worked up, and then watching cuck videos.
Another guy, if he did IRL right now, would make millions.
Yes.
God damn.
That. It's so insane. But honestly, I'm not.
I'd rather watch John.
Dude, I know, me too. I'm not for putting out people's private information and shit like that. I mean, God knows none of us want that to happen to us. It's wild. That's
so
wild.
He's been talking shit. Hold on. He's been talking shit about Nick and all of them all these months. And this motherfucker was seeing everything he's doing online.
Oh,
wow.
I mean, it goes so deep. He knows every email to attorneys that he's reached out to.
Oh,
he knows all the
damn.
correspondence back and forth. He's got text messages. Like everything's tied to his Google account.
Well,
he knows how much money he's making on YouTube. He knows everything.
It's just nice to know everyone involved in this is a piece of shit. They're consistent.
It's crazy. The other thing that he knows, which is wild, because Aaron, when he has to hit his goal, he'll be $150 off the goal. And then with 5 minutes to go, he's like, oh, wow, Bill on Venmo coming with $100. Sweet. All right. Yeah, we're almost there now. And I was like, well, no one can see Venmo. Well, guess who can't see Venmo this entire time? I think Rekieta. It's crazy. So we'll see what happens with that.
I don't know if I'm sad or if I'm proud, but I like that Aaron, it's the first time it occurred to me that he might actually enjoy being a cuck. And if that is actually something he enjoys.
He's into it.
Yeah, then he's getting what he wants. He should just shut the fuck up and own it. But he wants to be like John, two people who secretly enjoys it, but is an alpha male on camera. But that's not interesting. What's interesting is that guy. I want to know about that. If you suddenly now claimed a whole bunch of power, if you're going to admit to us that this is something you actually enjoy, because there are plenty, I'm sure, healthy relationships that enjoy that dynamic where the person isn't being humiliated. They're just comfortable with it.
Well, I think of Shuli and my friend from the Howard Stern show, Brent Hatley.
There you go. There you go.
He had a lot of fun being a cuck. He's made videos of him watching his wife getting railed. It's not a great way to live your life, I don't think, but hey, to each their own, right? If that's what they're into.
I mean, look, I'm one of those dudes. When I order food, I like to eat it. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, yeah.
I don't buy a
someone
steak.
Eat a steak and vicariously enjoy
I go,
it.
send it over to that gentleman over there. I want to watch him eat my steak. Thanks.
Can you describe the sushi as you eat it, please, sir? Oh, that sounds amazing. Really? It's that good? Wow.
Fucking wild.
I watch the same movies over and over because I'm lazy and stupid. Also, I insert myself in all the cool guy roles because I vicariously live through old Hollywood. I just do it. Don't worry me. Aaron and Rob will be doing Red Rockets for money soon. God to teach Steve.
But it's true. Remember when he wanted to box all of us? He kept talking about watch Rocky last night again. Watch Rocky 3 again.
You know he's like watching the movie and punching. Yeah, get him.
Of course.
Lawyers have the best tasting jizz. You all will never know how great it is ever. Where is the goal? How is there no goal still?
Do you think drinking Vince's man juice will lower my payments?
Shut up, loser. I got to get back to SP and the test of my white trash harem. Have no time for you and your goalless show.
All right, Aaron's bringing us some good points. We don't have a goal. We need to get a goal.
We're goalless
on this show. So yeah, John was continuing to beg today to Vince to let him off the hook for this agreement they have. And Desperate Broke John is one of my favorite versions of John.
He's the honest one, right?
It's the honest one.
Yeah.
where it's proof that he can't afford it. And I love the fact that he didn't pay in October. He's not going to pay in November. This is supposed to be a 6-month payment plan they had.
It's off to a great start.
He doesn't want to pay in December until after Christmas. It's as if he's going to have money after Christmas. Like, why would you think? He goes, I'll pay you on December 26th. Yeah, right. That's when people are the most broke. That's when you just
so January, he's like, well, you know what happened last month.
Well, now I got to pay quarterlies. It's January. It's like, it's always going to be something.
Well,
and never going to see this money.
I think we got to take a step back because we're all so excited to hear him say he's broke, but there's a method to John's madness. If he's being honest, it's for a reason. Okay. It's never accidental. And so he accepting Vince, agreeing to this agreement, come do the show with me, blah, blah, blah. It's all part of the plan to never pay Vince a dime. Right, Adam?
Mm-hmm. This is why John thinks he's smart. We're all making fun of him for admitting he's broke and going, gotcha, see, you're broke. And he's like, they're so stupid. I knew what I was doing. I'm really this. I'm really that. I'm just winning this battle, and you're all too blind to see. No, we see exactly what you're doing, John, and it is deeply embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a millionaire, but I don't think he's broke, and I think there's a lot more thought put into this plan than people are giving him credit for, because it's a scam, right? He's scamming somebody. That's something John has been doing for years. He's very experienced in it.
Also, Vince is easy to figure out.
Yeah.
If he tells you something, he means the opposite. He's lying to you. And so he's petting John's ego by saying, wow, you're a brilliant negotiator, John. You're going to weasel your way out of this one. You're so good at negotiating. And John's like, yeah, I sure am. Meanwhile, he's just crying that he doesn't have any money. Like you said, Shuli, can he afford $2,000 over 6 months? I would assume so. I mean, didn't he have that pension that was paying for his amazing apartment that he had in Canoga Park? And now he's not paying for that anymore. So you got to think he's got some money from the pension.
Yeah, that was great logic. I don't pay rent because my pension covers it. Remember that.
I love that he put down so much money on his house so his mortgage is lower. That's how smart he is. Oh, did you hear him on the show the other day? I was playing on WATP where he admitted that he bought stocks based on the Motley Fool.
Right.
And that 7 of the 8 stocks were down. Someone reached out to me. It might have been Dr. Steve. Someone reached out to me and they said, the way the Motley Fool works, I didn't really look into it. I don't know anything about it, but it's supposed to be for like long-term investing.
Yeah.
Which I guess I would say that too if I was giving stock advice. Like, no, hang in there for the long term. You'll either forget that I gave you the advice or it will go up eventually. Right.
Right.
Something
this Chinese coffee's going to blow up one day. Trust me.
Yeah. But that was another peek into John, who says he's such a brilliant investor and he understands the stock market. And then all of a sudden you find out he signed up for this Motley Fool thing and lost his ass.
Yeah. And he talked about Bitcoin and how he doubled his money. So we all know, oh, you're just a liar. You're just a pathological liar.
Bitcoin did not double in value.
No, nobody doubled their money. It went up in a big way. And just like we were discussing with jobs and anything else, he gets a little tiny tickle of success and he's doubled his money.
It's actually Trump-esque, if you think about it, where Donald Trump will go out and be like, yeah, with the inflation, it's 5 times the cost of eggs or something. You're just like, well, no, I shop. It's not 5 times.
The fact that he doesn't see the similarities between himself, Eric the actor, and Trump, they're all the same guy, which is so fascinating that Trump's body and Eric's body house the same mind, but they do. And John, when Trump was giving his victory speech and he hadn't planned a thing, it was like watching John. He's like, all right, what are we going to say now? Let's just
you get up
free associate, hit my attackers, not mention Kamala once and move on. And that's what he would do. He doesn't see any similarities or the fact that he hates Trump so much because it reminds him of himself as a New Yorker. Like, he won't admit that. And that's really sad.
Narcissists hate other narcissists. And Trump is the biggest narcissist out there. And guys like John can't stand him.
Well, what do you think of this theory? And I don't want to say where I heard it from. Let's just say it's somebody close. All those stocks that he mentions, there's not too much current new stocks that he talks about.
No.
Right. So those were the stocks that he did have at one point and sold all of his stocks. Because why, if you had connections, a stockbroker in New York, you had all these connections, all these people helping you make money in the stock market, which at that point he was, now you're signed up to Motley Fool? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Unless you're getting back into the stock market in the cheapest way possible. So he doesn't have any of them. He did at one point.
Yeah, John had connections as the call screener. Yeah. All of John's connections are based on being the call screener for Howard Stern. So guys would call in, and then he became friends with them, and then they would help him out with these stock tips and things like that. Like even the guy who paid for John's movie to get made.
Yeah.
He met through being the call screener on the Howard Stern show. And now he's signing up for the Motley Fool's newsletter.
I mean, it's no legal shield, but
I love that he admitted that. That was fun.
I mean, I've heard Adam talk about, like, it's not a friendship. It's a target. It's like, it's what can I get out of this person? Is it worth bringing this person in as a quote unquote friend? What do I get out of it? It's never an actual friendship.
Yeah, because think about what you would get as being John's friend. I think it was today or the other day. He was like, just a warning to everyone in my inner circle. You'll be hearing a lot of integrity verification from me coming soon. What is that to say to people? Just so you know, good chance most of what I'm about to say to you as a friend is absolute bullshit because I'll be testing you.
Right.
That sounds like a great fucking friend.
Yeah,
if you're lucky,
drive your boat around.
Right. If you're lucky, I won't lie to you. I'll just dox your telephone number and email. So
yeah, someone posted on Dabble's Anonymous. I guess it was on Hackverse. Rob Saul talking again about John doxing his number and what a pain in the ass that was for him. And I guess Rob has a new job he got recently. He's like, and then having to explain to your employer, do you have a new number and why you have a new number? It's like, I never wanted to give him my number. I knew this would happen. He's just the worst friend. John is the worst friend ever.
Yeah. Rob's going to stick to shitting on people's wives by himself. He's not going to team up with John anymore.
He keeps saying it wasn't intentional. It's not intentional. He keeps saying that like it's his pencils erasers thing. It's just a tick that he think absolves him from responsibility. Intentions don't matter. It's not, you don't get, you're still going to have to do time for a crime, even if your intention was not to commit it. You understand that works socially, professionally, in every way. You still give out everyone's info. I've done like 4 shows now with producer Chris. It never occurred to me to demand his last name.
Right. It's Chris. I've hung out with Cardiff. He's been over to my house. I've never cared what his name was. What difference does it make? I call him Cardiff. Gives a shit. So this is John's amazing arts and crafts moment from this week. He made that stop sign. It wasn't his idea. It was Dirty Deed's idea. So that when Clay Dabbler is just filibustering, you can shut him up.
The best was when he held it up and Clay just put his head down like a trained dog. That was hilarious. But I loved him giving a shout out to Dirty Deeds for this idea. It reminded me of Spinal Tap when they're doing the Jazz Odyssey at the amusement park, and it just sucks. And they're Bob, and he just goes, "This is Derek Smalls. He wrote this." It's like, don't attach me to this shit. Yeah.
So this is John's stop sign that he made. And he bought a 99-cent ruler. He made it a point to tell us how much the ruler cost. A Christmas plate, and then this tape that he wrote out stop on.
And steaks and beer.
Yeah. And if you remember when he pulled, or when he was talking about this, in his mind, I was telling him he should have gone to an actual print shop and gotten this professionally printed. Yeah. He's like, I know what Lady K's going to say.
Yeah, there's no in between.
It's crazy. So on today's show, he was talking about this with Vince, and then
It's a hot topic.
And then Vince goes, "Yeah, they don't even get that the fact that it's shitty is the joke." And I goes, "Yeah, that's the joke. It's not very good.
It's just dawning on me now.
Why did I think of that? That's so fucking funny." This might be one of my favorite things. It reminds me of when Homer enters the contest to make the power plant, the nuclear power plant.
Sure.
It's a contest for children.
Yeah. And then the other Karl from The Simpsons goes, yeah, and he mopped the floor with him.
I mean, it's just a taste of his artistic prowess, this guy.
Just a
has,
taste.
man. Just a tad.
Exactly. And that's the laziness is fear thing. He even says it in that clip. He goes, I know Karl's going to make fun of me, and I could have done a good job with this. I chose not to. So ha, 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 Karl, joke's on you. I could have done it well. I just didn't.
But just imagine thinking, how's Karl going to goof on me? What's the shit way you're going to say?
You're in his head.
Everything that he does, that's his first thought. It's like, how are they going to goof on me for this thing? It's like,
I mean, the bulk of his lies, I'd say 90% of his lies are for us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's it.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah. He's trying to impress us.
Oh, yeah.
He
All
loves
the time.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
If you shit on me tomorrow, he would be sucking your dick and your balls at the same time.
Are you kidding
Karl.
me?
Oh my God. Karl is in a weird place with John because he looks at you like a father figure, Adam. If you think I'm right on this, please back me up. But it's always like, when is Karl going to condone or not? When is Karl going to get on his case for this? When is Karl going to fucking back me up on that?
Yep.
He really wants your approval and support.
I think that is true. And I think perhaps even stronger than that is just his hatred of you. It's so concretized to you specifically because you represent Howard Stern. And that is such a threat. He just can't have that out there. And Karl's doing his own thing. He doesn't even quite know what it is. He doesn't know that Karl makes fun of other podcasts. He has no idea that Karl has other shows, even though we've told him and he's repeated it out loud. He still doesn't know. He thinks Karl just does some behind a paywall John show, but you worked with him. You are someone who knows. You have credibility. You're embarrassing in front of his friends. You're embarrassing him. You are making fun of him in front of the people he used to work with. And he still thinks we believe that he's friends with Ronnie and a bunch of these people, right? Because all those people have been told or just choose to ignore him, which is what I would do. So I think it's really about just he can't stand that you're out there doing that, saying he wasn't a writer, saying he's not funny. And again, like in his mind, he hated Howard because Howard couldn't look at him past an intern. That's what he said. You will always think of me as an intern. But in John's mind, Shuli, you're a caller. And that's it. And you have no right, even though you spent 15 years as a paid employee, you have no right to criticize.
I was told that Shuli did nothing on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah, I did. And anything I did on the phone was thanks to John. You know what I mean? He wrote and created everything I did. So, but yeah, Adam, I always thought that was the basis of his hatred of me, was like, I used to put this fucking guy on hold and now he's working there. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Remember how long it took for John to even say the word Shuli?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was years. He's like, I don't know who that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. You had to pull that one. 1,500 people watching us. Thank you. The return of Point Dabble Point. This will be Mondays, 4 o'clock. We'll be on the Shuli Network next week. We'll rotate it around. We appreciate you guys hanging out. This Dabbleverse, it just don't go away, does it? It's fascinating. We're all fascinated by it. Just like J Saurus Rex, $10 says, greetings, gentlemen. Congratulations. This conniption fit shows he has finally lost what little of his mind he had left. Everything from this point forward is a bonus. Skål! I feel like I've been feeling like we've been playing with house money for a while now. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't expect him to go on this long.
Oh, hell no.
But
We all
Doctor
watch
told
him.
us.
Sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead.
We all watch him every day. Like
Yeah.
we see him every day. If one of us were to take 2 weeks off, we would be shocked at what he looks like when he comes back. We're all
You're
immune
right.
to it.
Wow.
We don't see it. But every once in a
right.
while, you watch some old video and you're like, oh my God, that was 6 months ago. And his voice is different. He looks different. He is. And we're so forgiving of all of these lies. We just move on to the next one. If we actually kept track of all of them, we'd be like, this man is in free fall and just grabbing at whatever he can.
Just grabbing at it.
That's not what I was doing. That's not what I was doing. That's a Shuli thing.
Adam,
That's
you're
not-
in.
No.
You're in.
No.
Yeah, 4 years ago, we started doing like the deep fakes.
Yeah.
And my impression of his voice was like McGruff the crime dog and Jimmy Durante. And now his voice has actually dropped to how I do it.
Right. He's doing an impression of you.
Yeah,
doing an impression of him.
It is wild. John from Ballsack, Kentucky, $2. Karl and Shuli, will you buy SJ show stock from Vince the Lawyer? We talked about it, but maybe we will. I'd like to be an owner of the Stuttering John show. Not that it's worth anything, just to it's funny. Just be a funny
Just
bit.
to brag.
Yeah. Jay Loiter, $5 says, John is what you get when you spoil your kids. He didn't come up with him being the center of a universe by himself. I blame his mom. Fuck Stuttering John. Oh, there's definitely bad parenting involved. I would agree with that. Seems right. John's tits are floppy cow udders. I just wanted to hear you say my screen name. I think that worth the $2.
Say it again.
Rocco Orby, 2002, $2 says SJ is a bloated Peter Pan. He really is. PL, Adam, blink twice if you're having a good time.
What?
Blink twice if you're having a good time. All right,
What?
he's not having a good time, people.
As Adam would say, not my cup of tea.
Matthew Raleigh, $2. Has Aaron addressed the big reveal? I'd quit the net. The big reveal.
I mean, there's a bigger reveal than potentially
Well-
tasting another dude's load.
Well, he did address that today just to say that he's getting attorneys involved and he won't be talking about any of it. He said
I
Nick's a
wouldn't either.
liar. He said Nick's a liar. And as far as Nick having all the information about everything he's done on Google, goddamn, I would leave the internet.
Oh,
That's wild. Name taken, $20 says, if I go to an ATM and forget to take my card back, it's totally illegal for the guy behind me to take all the money out of my account. If someone is stupid enough to get victimized by the criminal, then it's not a crime, right? Again, I don't know this.
I'm hoping so.
I don't know the answer to that. I really don't.
I mean, it's still a crime. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I think it is.
I think so.
Like if a store leaves their merchandise outside and then they close up the store, it's still stealing if you go by and grab it.
Well, wasn't there a glitch with Chase Bank or something with the ATMs?
So yeah, you deposit a fake check and it would show up in your account, and you had a certain amount of time you could take the money out. Still wildly illegal. I said you never had money in your account.
And everybody's getting busted that did it.
Yes,
So
of course.
yeah,
Fucking idiots who watch that video. It's just because you can use a thumb drive to start a Kia doesn't mean that Kia is yours now.
yeah, Kia boys, we're talking to you.
Yes. Mark Abatista, member for 5 months, says, is it me, or has John been singing a lot of show tunes ever since he had the espresso martini? YouTube terms of service, just do it. Great show, guys. Great observation. KJ, $20, says, how fast did Karl head to Pornhub after John admitted to hearing Karl's voice in his head? See, I'm not like Aaron. That doesn't get me sexually aroused. I can't believe that he gets sexually aroused by this shit. There's other people who don't like the guy that I don't like. I gotta beat off.
That's the one thing I've learned from the internet. It's that whatever you can even think of, it is somebody's fetish, and there's somebody there for you. Whether it's a My Little Pony, or it's a foot, or it's just the crazy, or it's cucking, or any of these things that I can't even
Eating
fathom.
butter.
Eating butter. There you go. There is somebody who heard, oh my God, Kaylee's doing what? I'm in. Like the same way I get disgusted, someone's like, I need to see this, which should help us feel less alone, not more alone. Like,
Right.
there's somebody for John if he would just admit who he was, show his actual pictures on his dating websites, and present that. Someone, maybe not in this country, but someone
I was going to say, right.
will appeal to and go, I can work with this. Let me see what I can do. But he's so dishonest, you know. I can't
the
imagine.
Menendez brothers. I mean, it's amazing what you could do and still have chicks be into you.
The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, got married while on death row. Like,
there is some guy with his
crazy.
pants around his ankles just looking at Adam's glasses right now.
That was specific, Karl.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't see from the waist down. K19 Sparks, $5 says, my whole kingdom for a cause.
Yeah.
Richard's third reference.
Well played.
John. Mm-hmm.
Scalzo Photo, $5. A lot of big brains here. Hey, Shuli, what does concretized mean? Adam, don't help.
I have no idea.
All right.
Something in something with concrete? No,
What
I
is this,
have
the
no idea.
SATs? Come on.
Yeah.
Brother Ted, $5 says, my favorite thing Karl ever did was post the link to John's entire audiobook on the WATP Patreon. That was a bit. That was a good bit.
Never gets old.
My favorite was when you attacked his family. That was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, well, that was fun too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Garamo, Handyman to the Stars, $5 says, Adam is the Walter Cronkite of the Dabbleverse, but I'm convinced one day I'll see him in the news for hitting hookers with a hammer at a truck stop. I disagree. I think Adam will get away with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
I
smart.
just don't think it'll be a truck stop.
I'm a lot closer to Ray DeVito than you think I am.
Clip it. That's going to come back to haunt us.
All right. Anonymous $20 says, sure, it's legal to access somebody's email without their permission. And when the guy in front of you in line at the ATM leaves his card in the machine, it's totally legal to withdraw the money from his account. Duh. All right. I think that's a point that was just being made. Probably the same guy. Just being made that, there's no way that that's legal. And I saw a lot of speculation that maybe Patrick Melton is an accomplice to all of this because he knew this was going on and didn't alert the authorities immediately to tell them that Nick had this information.
Fucking hell.
I know.
John from Ballsack, Kentucky. Langford said Shuli has great news instincts. Wow.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck?
The guy also shit his pants once years ago at work. So do with that what you will.
He shit all over the wall, right? Wasn't that Steve Langford who did that?
His nickname was Mud for years. They said that was his nickname.
He
Mud.
was so
What's up,
upset that he
Mud?
got figured out. Diablo
Yeah.
Sandwich, $2. Kudos, Adam, for not kink shaming. More butter, Lucy. All right,
Yeah,
people-
Adam's right.
people are
He's
into it.
right. You know, there's no judgment here, Aaron, you fucking sick freak. You know?
Name taken, $5. You can disregard the message I sent through Streamlabs that said the same thing as my super chat. No need for a refund. You deserve it, guys. Well, thank you, name taken. And I won't disregard it. I'll play everything you guys send into supertips.gg/WATP. And I appreciate all the support that we got on today's episode. Wow. We went through a lot of topics. I had more that we could have gotten into, but that's okay. There'll be other days to talk about Stuttering John. This won't be the last time that people get together and discuss this guy. I want to thank Shuli for being here. Shuli Agar, I know that you just did a bonus show, Blunder Years, for people behind your paywall.
Yeah. Yeah. We do tier 1 and tier 2. We do 3 a week bonus shows. And I think we might be doing something tonight. So TSN, Shuli Network.
Jesus.
Adam.
I was a hardworking guy. Yeah.
Hey, you know,
Lazy
it's time.
fuck.
It's time to fucking clock in, Karl. Enough of this pussy shit. What are you gonna do?
Right?
Play pickleball?
Pussy
like a
boy.
loser? Yeah, pussy boy. Adam, always a pleasure. Producer Chris, you're a god. Karl, love you.
Thanks,
guys
buddy.
who hate me, go fuck yourself. I'll see you
Thanks
guys
for being
later.
here,
Bye.
Shuli. Appreciate it. Adam Busch. Wow.
Mhm.
So gracious with your time.
Thank you.
Always have great insights. I love your perspective on things you've been observing for years, and now you get to mix it up with us a little bit.
I really appreciate it because just to address, I know I do stare a lot. It's interesting because I'm a fan. Like I listen to you guys. I listen to all these shows, and every once in a while I forget that I'm on it. And I'm just enjoying it. So I do apologize if I'm just watching
apologize
and
to me.
soaking it all in because I do love the work that you've been doing. And I do, there's just something beautiful about intellectually analyzing something so dumb and so stupid.
Yeah.
I think there's a greater good in all of this. And I appreciate the work you guys are doing on the front lines. And I love being here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
We love having you. And
Thank you,
I mean, when you first went on John's show the first time and talked about the parallels with Eric the Midget and why that was such a compelling character for people, and they just couldn't get enough of it. And, you know, you can go to Hack Ride's channel. He's still doing shows about Eric the Midget. You can see all the clips on YouTube and stuff. But you're right. It's this compelling character that you're like, I don't know anyone like this in my life. How does this exist in the real world?
And we loved listening to Eric, and a part of us always felt bad for the situation he had in life.
Mm-hmm.
But a part of us always knew that if he had a normal body, he'd be the same asshole.
Oh,
And John is perfect proof of that because John had every opportunity life can give you. And he's so ungrateful and so mad at life and the situation that he's in now, and would never, ever lower himself to thinking he's similar to Eric, when the truth is Eric's above you, buddy. Eric is way more likable, had much more joy in life, had more of his impossible dreams come true, and led more of that Huck Finn American fantasy than you ever did. And he will always remain the ultimate character for me in this universe. And I feel like we do all of this in his name in a way.
Eric had people around him who helped him out of generosity. It wasn't like Vince the Warrior who's trolling him, or, you know, he actually had people who wanted to help him out with things. He was a more likable guy, which is not difficult to do when it comes to Stuttering John. Adam, what are you promoting these days? I know you got a lot of projects going on.
Oh, I'd love you all to listen to this record called Peeled Back by Ali Gertz. I think it's she's kind of a nerd icon. She has a Simpsons podcast. Her last record was an album of Rick and Morty songs, and now it's an album of Nine Inch Nails songs that I produced. And I really think you guys would like it and like her. I implore you to check out the music videos, give it a listen if you can. It's on all the streaming services. It would mean a lot to me.
Yeah, you were in the music video that I checked out. It's fantastic. She's a great singer.
Yeah, she's really great.
She's really good. What's her name again?
Her name is Ali Gertz.
Ali Gertz. All right. Well, thank you, Adam, for being
Thank
here.
you, guys.
Always great to see you. A couple super chats that came in late. John's earmites, $5. I'm amazed at the amount of content that's been created in the Dabbleverse. It just keeps going. Thanks for all the endless entertainment. I agree with you, John's earmites. I'm not just the president. I'm also a client. I'm sitting here with all you guys watching this shit too. I can't get enough. It's a lot of fun. Jim Powell became a member on YouTube, and then he turned around and gifted a membership on YouTube. Thank you, Jim Powell. If you were gifted a membership, go to our community tab on YouTube. That's where the links are to all of the live WATPs on Wednesdays and Saturdays, as well as the bonus shows that we do, 2 every single month. And when you go there, we always update that so you can watch the shows live and see what we're up to over here. Producer Chris.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, good to be here, man.
Anything you want to promote?
I'll be on the next WATP.
That's right, you will. We'll be back on Wednesday with Eric Nagel.
Oh yeah, we're doing it's very very special show.
We got one of the things we'll be doing is when David Lee Roth took over for Howard Stern. We have all of the original episodes of that.
We got the tapes.
And we got my buddy Darren coming on, who wrote the book about David Lee Roth. This guy
literally
knows everything about him. He knows all the behind the scenes shit. So he's going to be breaking that down, and we're looking forward to that. So that's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to watch it live, you can do so if you have a membership on Patreon or Supercast or YouTube. Otherwise, subscribe and listen wherever you listen to podcasts. We put out 2 episodes every week. It's free to listen to, and just subscribe to Who Are These Podcasts, and it'll show up every Thursday and Sunday for you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. I'm very happy that Point Dabble Point is back.
We're back.
We are back, and better than ever. We're back. All right, that's enough of that shit. Dork. Let's get out of here.
Point Dabble Point.